Beacon Press Audio presents Unfit Parent. A Disabled Mother Challenges an Inaccessible World by Jessica Slice. This audiobook is narrated by Finlay Stevenson. Published by Beacon Press Audio, 2025. To Amy and Heather, my first babies, who grew up to take care of me, I love you. And to Megan, Mama, and Sarah, you were with me as I wrote. Introduction. If my child were in charge, we would spend every hour of every day in matching floral nightgowns playing the late 80s version of Mario 3. I play, Kay narrates. She tells me which treasure chest to open and stops talking when it's time to fight Bowser so that I can concentrate. Our goal is to reach the part in level 5 when Mario jumps around in a sock. We are in an impenetrable bubble on our fluffy white sofa with that dated, pixelated game on the TV. Another of our activities, which also must be done in our long twin nightgowns, is to shop for home furnishings online. Kay could, without exaggeration, look at rugs and light fixtures for an entire afternoon. I pick a store, and we scroll and scroll. Which is silliest? Which do we want to buy? Recently, I ordered a Benjamin Moore paint swatch fan, and we spent the evenings looking through the colors and laughing about the names. Kitten whiskers? Sometimes I feel insecure about which activities I do with her. My husband, David, is the one who is teaching her how to ride a bike. David drives her to school. David flies a kite and swims in the lake. If I want to spend more than a few minutes with Kay, I need to be reclined and stationary. When I was considering the first paragraph of this book, the image that would introduce the reader to my relationship with my child, I considered the morning I sat with her in a lobby of a government building when she was a few weeks old. A security guard approached us and said that she had never seen a caregiver and baby so connected, that our bond brought tears to her eyes. I thought about starting the book with the time our neighborhood caught on fire in California, how David drove our van down the hill away from the wall of flames with Kay on my lap, how tightly I held her and refused to let go until we were far away from danger, how we saved her life. Or maybe I could start the book by describing Kay's first asthma attack at 18 months old. I was in bed and heard her first cry of the day, and without hesitation told David that something was wrong and we needed a doctor. David looked at me, confused, but I was right. I know my baby. We are connected. I'd tell those harrowing stories to prove that I am a real parent. A part of me wants to spend this whole book defending why I am just as worthy as a non-disabled parent. I want to convince you, the listener, and myself, that Kay's life isn't worse with me as her mom. But I know, when I am calm and honest, that approach won't get us anywhere. You'll smell the defensiveness on me. My rule of writing, the reminder I write each morning before I start and repeat to myself when I edit, is this: tell the truth. That's what I will do in this book. I will tell the truth about what it means to be a disabled parent, what our days are like, and how it feels to go out in the world when the world is not designed for you, about the barriers of our bodies and minds, of those imposed on our bodies and minds, and the pernicious barriers of our own internalized ableism. The absolute terror of parenting publicly, while knowing that the vast majority of people who have their children removed by social welfare systems are disabled. How expensive and demoralizing it is when you're disabled and trying to find baby equipment that works. I'll tell the truth about medical care, selective abortions, and labor, about breastfeeding and imposter syndrome and community. I'll tell the truth even when it will make people think I'm a worse parent than someone who is not disabled. I'll tell the truth even when it makes people mad. I will also share the lessons that my disabled body has taught me and how those lessons have helped me as a parent. I'll share the deep wisdom that disability culture offers and how it could alter parenthood for everyone. Being a disabled parent is hard, but in our isolated and productivity-driven society, being any parent is hard. I believe, not because I'm trying to prove my worth, but because I have lived it, that disabled parents have something powerful and transformative to offer. We have wrestled with misbehaving bodies and minds. We have navigated a world that rejects frailty and weakness. Years before acquiring my disability and over a decade before becoming a parent myself, my dear friend Kate had 4 kids in 5 years. I spent hours at her house hanging out and observing what it took to care for children. She would try to update me on some aspect of her life, and in the course of one sentence of one story, she'd be interrupted by 3 different kids: a bottom that needed to be wiped, a request for a snack, a squabble over sharing. The needs were constant and variable, second-to-second demands. Sometimes we'd be on the phone and I'd overhear the complex tactical planning of finding a minute to step away to pee. While I was not disabled at the time, I was considering having kids one day. It was our first decade out of college. Going about my day, I would try to imagine what it would be like to have kids. I'd consider my mornings, a run, breakfast, coffee, shower, work, and try to add in 4 small children with constant needs. I'd peek around my shower curtain and imagine a 4-year-old digging through my toiletries, a 2-year-old falling on the tile, and a newborn wailing with the dirty diaper. How could children possibly fit into life? I'm a parent now and write about parenting professionally, and I still don't know that they can. Parenting, for everyone, when seen through the lens of their life before parenting, is unthinkable. Parenting 2 kids through the lens of parenting 1 is unimaginable. Every new stage of parenting is impossible to comprehend before you're there. And yet, we do it. We keep our kids safe. We love them in a way we never imagined. We delight in their lives. Our capacities exceed our imagination. They grow from our creativity. Disabled parenting is the same. If you look at my life through the lens of your body, it may seem unsustainable. But my capacity for joy, for innovation, for community is enough. Disabled parents, out of necessity, must reject the rules and standards that guide non-disabled parents. And disabled people have learned important lessons living in an unreasonable world. I have not written a comprehensive historical or cultural account of parenting in North America. Other authors are doing that brilliantly. What I offer is my view from my own disabled body and from my place in the wider disability community. And from here, I see how the lessons I've learned that help me survive in a world that was not designed for me also help me as a parent. I've witnessed how our family divides our labor differently, and how much I value flexibility and reconsidering popular standards of parenting success. Unfit Parent blends my own story of disability and parenting with interviews, social commentary, disability theory, and socio-historical research. It cannot be a comprehensive account of every type of disability, nor can it cover the full history of being a disabled parent in the U.S. and Canada. There are a few topics that I will gloss over or pause briefly on, that in fact,
Sample complete. Ready to continue?